Welcome to Pure Hustle Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando, and we're here for another Monday minisode.
Yeah, Monday Minis. Our Monday Minis are a YouTube exclusive video. So if you're listening to our podcasts and you're used to just listening to us, come over on a Monday and see us on YouTube. And it's shorter, right? So typically our episodes on Wednesdays are, a good hour and 15 minutes. And we're covering a lot of different things. Monday Mini, we're getting right to the chase, even though I spent a bunch of time talking about what we're doing. And we talk about one thing for about 10 minutes or so. And today we're talking about one of our favorite things, which is garage sales and things to say at a garage sale to really give you that leg up.
So we've done videos like this. We've talked about this on the podcast, but things are always changing. And Mike and I are always learning. And it's funny because there is, I would say, an art or a finessing of garage sales that could work in your favor, right? Because the deal is you're at a garage sale, right? And what you're trying to do is you're trying to buy items for the most profitable price, right? I'm not saying you're just lowballing for lowballing's sake, but reselling is all about buying low and selling high. And garage sales are a perfect opportunity. And a lot of people are introverts and they really don't want to have those conversations, right? But I got to tell you, the friendlier you are at a garage sale, the better of a deal you'll get. Now, if it comes off as inauthentic, then maybe you might struggle. But these phrases are pretty easy that we're sharing. And you can, modify these. And this is just what Mike and I use. Remember, all our podcasts, all our minisodes, or Mike and I just documenting our experience and then sharing it with you guys. So the first one is very basic. Do you use this?
Yeah, all the time.
Do you want to share what it is? You want me to do it?
Yeah. So one of the best things you can do when you first walk up to a garage sale, you just greet the person. That could be just good morning. That's like a simple one. If you don't want to get too fancy, hey, good morning. How's it going? Or just
top of the morning,
basic, simple greeting. How's it going? Wow, you guys got a lot of stuff here. How are things going? Or man, this seems like it took a lot of work. Just something small. And a lot of times, like, that leads into more, but just, it doesn't have to be a lot. You're not trying to become best friends with the person, but you're just saying hi. You're acknowledging them, because I've done my own garage sales and it can be a little off-putting when someone runs up and they're looking at stuff and it's almost like it's your stuff that they're going through. And it's almost like they're just treating it like garbage and they're not acknowledging you as a person, and it just sets the wrong tone. And so when somebody stops and says, hey, good morning, how's it going? I've used things like if I see somebody drinking coffee, it's like, oh man, you're smart. You already got your coffee this morning. I need to go get some after this. Little things like that just open up a little bit of a, hey, I'm a human. You're a human. We're both humans here. Let's do business.
Now we want to keep it to just phrases. So let's you added a lot, which is all good. I mean, that's what we're doing, but just good morning. If you struggle, just because sometimes when you say, how's it going? You open up the door, right? And a lot of people don't want to have conversation, which is fine. I think you should have that conversation. But if you just want a phrase, just good morning, and make sure you smile when you say it. Don't just be looking at stuff. Good morning.
Yeah. Yeah. A real smile too. Not like a fake cheesy smile. Morning.
Can you tell the difference between the two?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You can be a creepy person. Good morning. And then just stand there and smile at them. That would not go over well at all.
Okay, all right.
So, practice it in a mirror. If you're not a very personable person, check it out a couple times.
Just be natural. All right. The next one is, I use this a lot. So somebody, will have something out and I'll ask, how much for this? And they'll give me a price. And then I'll go, you think we can work on the price? Because you're just trying to gauge things. Right, you're trying to gauge things. Do you use that one? You think you can work on the price?
I do.
How's that work out for you?
It works out.
Okay. So the reason is there's two. One is you can gauge whether it's worth it to stay there, right? Because if they're you pick up something, you think it's something you could resell for 20, and they're like, oh, I was thinking 30. Then maybe you're like, I don't know if I need to be at this garage sale. Or on the other end, that gets them thinking, okay. They might say, well, I was thinking to get this for it, but if you buy more, maybe we could do a better deal. Right. Yeah. Sometimes that conversation happens.
Yeah. It's very beneficial to do that. Often I'll say something along the same lines. Do you have any wiggle room? Right.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing as, can we work on this price? But if you ask, which it's not always the best thing to just start with, how much is this? I typically do with at least one item to see the same thing. Is this?
I just say, what were you thinking? Yeah. I don't ever say, how much is this? To me, it's different.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But whatever method you say, but just something to get an idea of, are they overpriced? And then once they give you a price on something, yeah, the next phrase is, do you have any room to work on this? Or do you have any wiggle room? Or that lets you know yes or no. And sometimes you'll be surprised. They're willing to go much lower than you were expecting.
Mm-hmm. So Agreed.
Yeah. Our next one is, what could you do if I bought it all? Now, this is one of our favorite things to do. And this leads to a lot of techniques that we've talked about as far as bulk buying and being able to, when I say manipulation, I'm not talking about like you're manipulating a human, but you can manipulate the sale in the sense of, hey, okay, what if I bought all of this? They give you a price, then you can remove an item that maybe it's the least profitable item for you, which could have a drastic impact. So there's a lot of things you can do to make this work in your favor, but getting an all-in price on something is usually going to be good because it does a few things. One, it lets them know they can get rid of all of this stuff and it's gone. They don't have to deal with it. And it might be all day that they're out here and some of the stuff might not sell. And then two, once they have a number that they give you and you can start that negotiation, it's almost like the ball's in their court to turn down the money for all this stuff. Mm-hmm. If it's just one item, you don't have as much wiggle room, I feel, to do some negotiating if it's just one item. But when you get to say what could you do if I did all of this? Most people aren't expecting that, I don't think, at a garage sale. Mm-hmm. Most people are thinking, I'm going to sell, if I've got 20 of these, whatever it is, knickknacks, collectibles, I'm going to sell them one at a time. That's why I have them labeled $1 each. But if I say how much for all of it, they're like, whoa, I can get rid of all of them? Yeah, I mean, it's already been 30 minutes and nobody's even looked at these yet. Sure, I'll get rid of all of them. So it's a very powerful tool. Man, it makes such a big impact. And those bulk buys, it totally changes everything. Some of our best buys have come from how much for all of this.
It's great. No, this is the best deals that come from that one. Now, this is a different one. I haven't talked about this before. I use this more often now. So is there a story behind this? And the reason I ask this is it allows me to, for lack of a better phrase, read the room, right? Understand where people are at a certain item. So you might, for example, at one time there was an item that collects change, when you go on the bus, and you pay, to get on the bus, it's a fare collection. Okay. And, they had it about, it was a decent price. It was at $50. And then I had asked them, what's the story behind this? And she had relayed to me that this was her husband who had just passed away and was a bus driver and all this. And then I was like, all right, I'm probably not going to try to haggle too much on this one, right? Because you also want to make sure you don't break relationships with people, right? And so that helps. Now, other times I've had it where I asked what's the story behind it, and after I said that and they shared everything with me, I said, well, that's kind of good. That's kind of a cool story. I want to make sure it goes to a good home. I've had people say, you know what? I trust that you'll be able to get to a good home. I'll work on the price with you. Right. Because again, you're trying to establish that relationship that you're not there just to, make profit, which we are, but you care about the individual, you want to make sure. And this is true. I buy a lot of things because I do have buyers that are collectors and want these items and they're going to go to a good home. And so when you ask that question, what's the story behind this? It allows that human element to bring you both into a place of like, all right, this isn't just a business. This is going to provide somebody something that they've been looking for. And sometimes I get great deals by asking that question.
Yeah. And it can lead you to we'll talk about probably on our next episode, some other phrases can come right off of this that can work in your favor. Because once is somebody attached to this? Well, they might not be as attached to it as you think they are, or is it as they even think they are, which can lead to a better deal. If they're like, no, it's nothing, then all right, well, then let's go cheaper.
What's your nothing price?
Yeah. I don't know. Somebody gave it to me. I think I can't really. If there's not a bunch of sentimentality attached to it, then it might even work in your favor.
Yeah, agreed.
And then the next one you have listed here, and I don't typically use this, especially the way it's phrased here, but you have what is your takeaway price? I know it might be a little bit more negative connotation. I like to use like, what's like the final, what's the best we can do here? And I like to add myself in it too. I like to say something like, what's the best we can do? Like what's the lowest we can go on this? And by doing that, I'm not just like putting it like all on them, but I'm trying to say like, hey, we're negotiating on this. Maybe we're a little bit far apart. Let me hear your bottom number. I'll give you my top number and let's go from there. And sometimes by doing that, it lets them, it kind of can disarm them, because when you're doing the battling back and forth, how about 50, 75? How about 55? How about 70? And then you're just back and forth. And you're like, look, let's just cut to the chase. What's the number? What's the number we can do? All this stuff, and then get their number. Because again, you can sometimes go even below that.
Yeah, I usually use this phrase, "What's your takeaway price?" when it's a high priced item, right? That I chances are it's been there for 2 hours. You know, a lot of other resellers have tried to buy it, but it's so expensive. You know, it doesn't hurt to ask. You know, I've had people say, actually, it's priced that high because I don't want to sell it. And then you kind of like, oh, all right, there's no point in this anymore, right? But sometimes people are like, ooh, takeaway price. That's true. It is getting kind of close to 10 a.m. I might have to go back in with this one. And they've offered me a decent price, and I just bought it and walked away with it. So
it's good stuff.
So hopefully these phrases helped you out. Again, you know, there's room in these, but, you know, good morning is a great way to start. You always want to talk about, you know, what can they do with the price? Is there wiggle room? Do you think you can work on the price? What if I bought it all? And, you know, is there a story behind this? And ultimately, you know, if you really want to get rid of this, what's your takeaway of price? And
yeah, and I got a little one for you now. Go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel, because next Monday, we're going to have a follow-up on this with 5 more phrases. And so practice these 5 at this weekend, and then we'll give you 5 more next weekend. Make sure to subscribe so you know when we're dropping those videos, though.
And with that being said, make sure to be real,
be relevant,
and be reselling. Peace.